Good morning, everyone. Guess what we're doing today? Today we're making banana bread. Remember on the other banana video that I did where we did the banana cake and the banana muffins, the make ahead? I had planned to do banana bread then as well, but remember someone had eaten one of my bananas that I was saving for banana bread and we couldn't do that. So I finally have some more bananas now that we can do banana bread with, and I've threatened everyone not to eat them, that they were specifically for banana bread. So here we go. This is how you make banana bread. Okay, this is all the ingredients you need. You need plain white sugar, plain all-purpose flour, baking soda, baking powder, 1 stick of butter, 2 eggs, and 3 very ripe bananas. Actually, I prefer mine to be a little more ripe than this. I have done them when they were almost completely black. And I know it sounds gross, but the more brown, the darker the banana, the better the banana bread. Okay, and then it just makes it much better. Trust me, that's the secret. That's one of the secrets. There's another secret I'll let you in on a little bit later. So let's get started. All right, so we got all of our ingredients. I've got my bananas here, a bowl. I've got my 2 eggs. I have my flour, baking soda, baking powder over there, sugar over there. So the first thing we're gonna do, and I've got butter melted in the microwave. It's just sitting there waiting for me. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna peel these bananas. I brought the trash can out here. They're so soft and fragile, which is good because that means I don't have to work as hard to mash them up. And then I'm just chunk them into this bowl. And you need 3. Doesn't really matter if they're small or big. I mean, I get 3 average size. So if they're really big, like huge bananas, you could just do 2. You don't want any of this in there. Like the little stringies, take those off. And I don't like the little end piece either. Sorry for the dishwasher noise. Multitasking over here. This is definitely a family favorite recipe. It's not mine. It did not originate with me. I got it from someone that I used to work with in an office when I had an office job, and she brought it to work a couple of times, and we all ate it, and I just could not get enough of it. I loved it when she would bring it to work. So I finally just got the courage up to ask her for the recipe, and she gave it to me, and I have been making it ever since. She puts walnuts in hers, and you can if you want to. If you want to add nuts to yours, it's a 1/2 cup of nuts. I just don't. I'll eat it either way, but I prefer it without. Okay, so I just take a fork. You got bananas chunked up in here, and I just mash them with the fork, which shouldn't be difficult because they're so soft already. And again, if you watched my other video with the muffins and the banana cake, we did this for the banana cake, and it's the same principle. You just want them to be mush to where they are the consistency of baby food. I loved bananas baby food. It was my favorite. You know, when my kids were old enough, when my babies got to the baby food stage, could not wait for them to have bananas because it was so good, and I would always sneak a bite. Is that gross? I don't think it's gross. And then once you get them mashed, I just kind of beat them. You want them to be kind of almost liquidy. It's gonna be chunks, and that's okay. You want it to be more goo than chunk, if that makes sense. See, so I do that first while the butter melts, and then we're gonna set that to the side because that's gonna be the very last thing that goes in. You're gonna use your mixer with the paddle attachment. which I've got set up already over here. Melted the butter. Move this out a little. And then you're going to, and I will put a picture of the recipe for you at the end, like I usually do. It's 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 1 stick of butter melted, 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and then those 3 ripe bananas. And then if you want to add nuts, it's a 1/2 cup of nuts. So you start with this, melt your butter, and you're going to cream it with the sugar, which is 1 cup of sugar. And my scoop is a 1/4 cup measure cup. So I'm not gonna dirty up another measuring cup. I'm just gonna count out 4 of these. I just made a mess. 3, 4. And get that creamy. And I'm put my sugar away. I gotta get more sugar when I go to Sam's. Kids are over here trying to sneak things that they're not supposed to be eating. All right, now once this is creaming together, let's see if you can see. Probably not. You're gonna put the eggs in, and then you're gonna do them one at a time. Get that shell. And we're gonna let that egg beat in and get completely incorporated before we add the second egg. Okay. And then let that one get completely incorporated. All right, the oven is to temperature now. All right, so that's in there. So in this bowl, I went ahead and measured out 2 cups of flour, and then we need a teaspoon each of these. If you don't have measuring spoons, it's fine. Just use a regular cereal spoon, which is a teaspoon. 1 of baking powder. 1 of soda. And then we're going to turn this on and add this in a little at a time so we don't splatter it everywhere. We are gonna go to my sister and brother-in-law's house soon. So I'm gonna wrap this up when it comes out of the oven and take it with us and have for a breakfast. Here we go. Now you add in your bananas. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Now you're going to add your bananas in. And you will have to stir it a little bit by hand because it won't get all the way to the bottom and you'll have some of that thick dough in the very bottom of your mixing bowl. But that's okay. It smells so good. This bakes your whole house. It smells so good. Okay. you can see how in the bottom it's like dry dough. It's not incorporated. So you're just gonna take your spatula and scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl and make sure those bananas are folded all the way in really, really well. Okay. Then I like to use, of course, you know I gotta have Baker's Choice. This is my favorite loaf pan. It's a Calphalon. I've had it for years and years. It may have actually been a wedding present. I'm not sure, but that's how long I've had it. This is my favorite pan. You just need a regular standard size loaf pan. And then we're gonna spray it with Baker's Joy, or you can line it with parchment paper. I've done that before, but you need to spray the parchment paper also. Okay. Get it in the pan. At this point, if you're gonna put nuts in it, when you put the bananas in, that's when the nuts go in as well. But I just leave mine out. We prefer plain, no nuts. So if you have like an allergy, a nut allergy, leave them out. It's not gonna hurt to leave them out. Yummy. My hands are clean, I just washed them. Make sure it's all even, there's not air pockets down in there. Okay, now this is gonna go in the oven at 350 for 15 minutes. And then you're gonna set the timer for exactly 15 minutes. Don't not set a timer, set your timer. When the timer goes off, don't open the oven, don't touch it. All you're gonna do is change your temperature from 350 down to 300 and set the timer back for 1 hour. Then you can take it out and it's done. So let's get this in the oven. Okay, I just pulled this out of the oven and turned the oven off. Isn't it pretty? It's so yummy and it smells so good. So we're gonna leave this sitting right here and let it cool in the pan. We got to take Willow to the vet so that she can get weighed, so that we can make sure she's not losing or gaining like she should not. They need her weight and probably get her some medicine. So while we run to do that, this is gonna cool in the pan, and then when we get back, I will show you how I wrap it up. Okay, it's the next day, we're home. I didn't film this yesterday when we got home from the vet. It was just a whole lot going on. We were there a lot longer than we thought, and she's pretty sick. So once we got home from there, it was just too much going on for me to film this. So I did go ahead and wrap it up. So I wanted you to see how you wrap this up. So you just take this out of the pan as soon as it's cool enough that you can handle it without burning yourself. Don't wait until, you know, like the next day, because you don't want to let it dry out. You want to like trap in all the moisture that you can. So I take it out of the pan and I lay saran wrap out, and I set it on the saran wrap and I wrap it one way, and then I lay saran wrap out again. Actually, I go this way first. I wrap it this way first. This way, and then I move it and I lay saran wrap again, and then I go this way and wrap it this way and pull the edges up as tight as I can, and then I put it in a gallon Ziploc freezer bag, not storage bag. That's one reason I really like that particular loaf pan, is it fits perfectly inside a gallon freezer bag. Now, at this point, you don't eat it. You don't cut it and eat it. It's so tempting, especially as good as everything smells. The house smells wonderful. You just think, ooh, warm banana bread from the oven. Don't do it. You'll be so sorry. I have cut it the first day, and it is dry. It is horrible. Even with so much butter on it, it's terrible. The secret is, leave it like this. Don't touch it for 3 days. So if I bake this, let's just say, if I bake it on a Monday, then I have to wait Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if I bake it Monday morning, I can cut it Thursday morning. If I bake it Monday night, I can cut it Thursday night, if that makes sense. And it freezes great. So I'm going to take this when we go in a few weeks to my sister's house out of town for the weekend. I'm going to take it with us. So I'm going to put it in the freezer until then. But I don't want to put this in the freezer until the 3rd day when it's ready to cut, so that when I thaw it, I can cut it as soon as it's thawed out and where it's ready to eat right then. If I freeze it now, then when I thaw it out, I have to wait 3 days before I can cut it. So that's not good. I never remember to pull it out of the freezer 3 days before. I want to pull it out like the night before and let it thaw overnight so it's ready for breakfast. So I'm going to wait the 3 days. And then as soon as the 3 days is ready, instead of opening it and cutting it, I'm going to set it in the freezer. And then I will pull it out and take it with us. So if you're going to freeze it, wait your 3 days first and then freeze it. And I just get all the air out, as much air out of the bag as you can possibly get. I just fold the bag over and zip it, most of the way. Squeeze out as much air as you can. And there you go. And I store it in this bag. After I cut it, I wrap it back up in a plastic wrap, put it back in the bag, and it stays great. It's wonderful sliced and picture sliced in the microwave with a little butter on it and a hot cup of coffee. It's wonderful. So if you ever have any yucky bananas, and there's 3 of them, and they're going to get yucky before you can eat them, set them aside and make banana bread. It doesn't take very many ingredients. It doesn't really take a lot of time. And I promise you, it is so worth it. List down in the comments below if you've ever made banana bread, if you have made this recipe, and if you like it. And until then, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.